Now, before you spend another dime on Google Ads, let's make sure your campaign settings isn't wasting any of your money. So timestamps below, along with some other helpful links and resources, including a full guide to building out your campaigns from scratch. Now, the good news is with most of these, even if they're not set up correctly, Google is still collecting the data and we can still mine through our campaign, even if it wasn't set up properly, except when it comes to location targeting. So take a look at this example here. This campaign is targeting the United States, and we have this nice detailed breakdown of all 50 states. The advantage of doing this? Well, we can come in here and start adjusting our bids up or down, depending upon how the state is performing. Well, if when we're setting up our campaign initially, we just typed in United States and set that as our campaign targeting, then we wouldn't get this detailed view and we wouldn't be able to adjust our bids based upon the different states, provinces, or territories. So when you're setting up your campaigns or you're adjusting your current ones, you need to make sure that you manually type in all of the subregions of wherever you're targeting. So if you're targeting a country, all the states, territories, or provinces. If you're targeting a state, territory, or province, cities or counties, and then you kind of get the idea. It goes all the way down to zip codes. Never use radius targeting because that's just as bad, if not worse, than targeting just one location. And this will allow you to really optimize your locations moving forward as you start to scale your campaigns. So link in the cards and the description to a super deep dive guide that goes through how to optimize your locations as well as the other aspects of your campaign. Now, let's talk about our campaign type, right? Because Google has a lot of different campaign types. We have search, we have display, we have Gmail, we have YouTube, which are technically included in display, but we'll just separate them for this particular example. And you always want them to be completely separate. You never want search and display in the same campaign, and you don't want to combine any of these other targeting with each other either. Yes, I know Performance Max does like everything under the sun, but I'm still not a fan of it. I really think you should keep everything separate. And speaking of separate, you also want to make sure that your ad spend isn't being spread to places that you didn't even want to show your ads to. So when you're setting up your campaign, whether you're doing something like YouTube or Google search, you need to uncheck that little box that says search partners or display partners, because you want to make sure that you only show up on Google search if you're doing a search campaign, or only show up on YouTube if you're doing a YouTube campaign. And so that is a quick little way to make sure that your hard-earned money is actually going towards putting your ads where they actually should be, because normally the display and search partners, they tend not to do as well. Should you test them in the future? Absolutely. But when you're just starting out trying to figure this whole Google Ads thing out, it's not a good idea. It's just going to muddle your data. And speaking of muddling your data, let's talk about match types. So first, if you're running search campaigns, you should only use keywords as targeting. Yes, they allow you to do audiences, and there's some awesome things you could do there for the display side of things when you're doing YouTube and display and Gmail. Those are awesome. But when it comes to creating your search campaigns, you should only use keywords and no other targeting type. And then you only want to use phrase match and exact match. So this diagram shows you the differences between the different match types. And the short version of it is we get to tell Google how liberal they can be with showing our ads. And so when we use phrase match and exact match, we give more restrictions to Google on what types of searches we could show up for. And the main problem is if you use broad match, well, you're going to show up for a lot of things that are completely unrelated to what you have to offer, which means you're going to waste a lot of your budget on clicks of people who were never actually going to buy. So just stick with phrase match and exact match for all of your search campaigns. So link in the cards and the description to a full-blown guide to using Keyword Planner to find more keywords so you can create more campaigns and scale instead of adding broad match so you can get more traffic. Now this next one we'll call Blank Check, because one of my favorite childhood movies was called Blank Check, where this kid literally gets a blank check and he goes off and he buys a castle and a butler and all the cool gadgets that a 90s adolescent would dream of. Of course, in retrospect, now it all looks like really old stuff. But the point I'm trying to make here is don't be the guy who gives the blank check, because Google wants to be that kid. They want to take our money, run into the castle that we paid for, and then just send us customers whenever they feel like it. There's probably a better way to come up with that analogy, but I really just wanted to fit blank check in here for some reason. So anyway, what is the blank check? Well, that deals with the bidding types. So when it comes to selecting your bidding types, when you first create your campaign, they're going to give you some automated bidding options. And this is just a blank check because Google is going to decide how much you pay per click. Now, these are awesome in the future, but for now, you need to go through and select manual cost per click, set your maximum bid to anywhere from $2 to $3. You can always raise it later, but this makes sure that we don't treat Google like the little kid in the film where he just gets to go spend all the money he wants, and then we show up and we're like, where are the customers? Why did you send me all these people? Why is there a giant bouncy house here? I don't want that. And Google goes, oh, well, I thought you did, but no refunds. So please do not use automated bidding strategies when you are just getting started. Use manual. You can always try those later. Plus, they're actually really hard to scale. So they are a guide and video in and of themselves. Just stick with manual cost per click. Now, jumping back over to our keywords, another way we can make sure that Google isn't wasting our money, although this isn't as much of a blank check issue, and that is using the search terms report and negative keywords. So inside of your campaign, you can click on keywords and you can click on search terms report. This one's blank because it's just a demo, but all of the terms, well, 70, 80% of them will show up on this page. And so this page will show you the keywords that you're actually showing up for. And so what you can do is either add these to your campaign because they're good keywords, or you can look at it and go, ooh, I don't want to be showing up for that. And you can take them and then go over to the negative keywords side of your keyword options in your campaign, and you can just start typing in your negative keywords as phrase match. You'll put quotes around them, and this will allow you to stop showing up for bad keywords. And so this is a tremendous opportunity. It's more of an optimization as opposed to a mistake, but I still wanted to include it here because it's a really powerful way to just stop paying for bad clicks. Now, hopefully by this point, we've plugged the major holes in your campaigns and we've tightened some things up. So we're really focusing in on the keywords and customers we actually want to go after. Now, this next one deals with actually being able to optimize your campaigns, and that is action tracking. So whether you're trying to get leads and sales or you're doing e-commerce, you need to set up conversion tracking and remarketing tags so you can start optimizing for the actions that you want on your website. I realize that's a little wordy, but I'll link up in the cards and the description to a full-blown Google Tag Manager guide that will show you how to install the Google Ads remarketing tag on your site, as well as install the basic conversion tag. Now, if you're in e-commerce, I highly recommend spend a couple $100, go over to a place like Upwork or whatever freelancing platform you like, find a experienced developer / Google Analytics expert to set up e-commerce tracking for you. There's some really cool things you can do. So eventually, when someone clicks an ad and actually buys, you'll be able to see the exact amount, or approximately the exact amount, that they actually spent. And this will allow you to start to figure out what keywords and what campaigns are actually driving leads and sales, as opposed to, well, this one got more clicks than this other one, so maybe that one's working. Well, maybe the one that didn't get as many clicks actually got more sales. And spoiler alert, most of the time that's actually how it works out. So definitely check out the link in the cards in the description. If you're interested in working with us to set up your analytics tracking, I'll link up to our conversion foundation for you to learn more in the description as well. But really, any analytics expert will be able to set this up for you. And of course, you have YouTube University if you want to spend a day or two figuring out all the coding and data layers yourself. Now, finally, one of the biggest mistakes when it comes to setting up a Google Ads campaign actually has nothing to do with the settings. It has to do with your website, and that is specifically, where are you sending people? So you need to send people to a specific page directly related to your campaign and your ads. So if you're generating leads, then this needs to be a landing page specifically designed to get people to join your email list or provide their contact information for some sort of free consultation or quote. Then if you're doing e-commerce, send people directly to a product page. not your homepage, not a random category page. It should be a specific product page. The more specific you are with where you're sending people once they've clicked your ad, the better your conversions are going to be. Because when someone clicks your ad, they want to go to the exact right place that they were looking for that answers their question or shows them the product that they're interested in. They don't want to have to click through 3 or 4 more times or go through menus in order to find what they're actually looking for. That's why they just typed it into Google. They don't want to click around. So thank you so much for watching. Sincerely hope you got some ideas on how to plug some money gaps in your own Google Ads campaigns and some ideas to actually start to optimize. So link in the cards in the description to a full-blown guide to setting up your Google Ads campaign for the first time, how to actually go through and optimize it, and of course, a super deep dive guide on keyword research so you can find more keywords instead of using broad match, and then of course, find some negative keywords to add to your campaigns. So hit that like button, subscribe for more guides just like this one, and until the next, keep building the business you love.